more games and it's ours.
Four more games. Only 4 more.
Oh, Davo. God.
Oh, Rog.
Oh, I feel like I've been bitten by a Brazilian walking spider, Davo.
Wait a minute.
I'm that excited.
Wait a minute.
I'm that excited.
Wait a minute. Oh, Rog. You predicted this. You called it exactly the way it was.
On December the 6th.
December the 6th, 2013, Anno Domini.
Mocked and derided.
Yeah.
Mocked. I said they'd beat Ghana.
Yeah.
Said they'd tie to Portugal.
Yeah.
I'd said they'd lose to Germany but still go through with 4 glorious American points. We
Amazing
have watched
stuff.
Portugal
Yeah.
tie us 2-2. That was a tie that felt like a loss. Today, we watched the Germans. Davo, we watched the Germans.
It was a loss that felt like a win.
It felt like
Rog.
a win. It felt like a win, and our battle plan was that of the Apache resistance.
Oh, we love that, Rog. Here we go. And our battle plan will be that of the Apache resistance. We will be cruel to the Germans, and through our cruelty, they will know who we are, and the German won't be able to help themselves but to imagine the cruelty their brothers endured at our hands, and our boot heels, and the edge of our knives. And the German will be sickened by us, Rog, and the German will talk about us, and the German will fear us.
Maybe it's Quentin Tarantino who is writing the scripts for FIFA.
Now, the only problem is we didn't really do anything to the Germans today, but let's not have that
Shots on goal are overrated, Davo. They are overrated.
It's overrated. It's the result the US needed, Rog.
Can I just tell you,
go through
2 quick
from the
things
group of death.
to get out of the group of death with those opponents: Ghana,
Yeah.
Portugal,
Yeah.
Germany.
Yeah.
With that travel, 9,000 clicks. With that heat, the trifecta of challenges.
Jungle.
Hot, jungle hot, swampy heat. To
Herrera
recover
wet,
physically.
Herrera moist today.
To recover physically, to recover mentally, and to be alongside Germany, one of the 2 teams, Portugal, one of the 2 teams emerging from Group G. I think it's an unbelievable American sporting achievement. It is the miracle on ice, on grass.
On wet ice.
Wet,
on very hot ice.
On
very,
grass.
very hot ice. Rog, the soccer gods, and there are soccer gods, the soccer gods...
Friends of Tarico's.
Were with the US today. But let's not forget when the soccer gods have been not with the USA. We deserved
the Yom Kippurs.
We deserved
American soccer history.
We deserved the soccer gods to be on our side. Portuguese fans will complain, oh, we had so many chances to go and win the game. Ronaldo himself could have scored 5.
Ronaldo, a great man. And he and I are both going to become American citizens after today.
We cursed him on SportsCenter.
Ronald McDonald, Ronald Reagan, Ronnie Dunn of Brooks and Dunn.
Yeah.
Ronald Washington.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
You are in the pantheon of great American Ronalds with today's performance, wouldn't you say, David?
Yeah, right up there. Right up there.
You delivered a blow for freedom
and
democracy. Yes, the Ghana goalkeeping could possibly be described as
a little match fixy.
Yeah,
it was the second goal was just a little. It was
just
a little bit.
Fixie. It was a kind of Spanish. It was a Brazilian banana
We're not suggesting for one
fixie.
second that any Ghanaian players are taking money for match fixing. We're just saying that particular move.
The finish
was a
for the first Portuguese goal.
Oh.
But that was it. Cristiano Ronaldo, you have scored one of the great goals in American soccer history.
Yeah.
And I'll say, if you're not feeling the pleasure that we are feeling right, David, this, the football dance that we do, if you're not feeling like that right now, if you're not feeling like Ellen DeGeneres does on a daily basis, just tell yourself, imagine how you'd feel if these games were played in reverse order. And first, we played the Germans and lost 1-0.
Fine.
No many shots on goal. Lots with signs of David would be on here telling him optimism, reasons to feel optimistic.
Omar Gonzalez had a good game.
He did have. He had
his World Cup debut.
David said he had the game of his life in the first
15 minutes.
Yeah, he had it all. He had it all. And then they went and played Portugal.
And that was even with the miscue.
And then in the second game, they went and played Portugal and tied.
Yeah.
Courageously tied. Still hope, we'd say the headlines are. Hope still lives on for the US.
Yeah.
And then we had today a winner takes all game against Ghana.
Yeah.
Our foe.
Yeah.
in the third game, if we're playing them backwards.
Which Dempsey scores in the opening 30 seconds, Rog.
Woo!
I mean, I do wish a little bit. I do wish a little bit that the games had been reversed.
And then John Anthony Brooks tumbles on.
Would have been amazing.
Would have been amazing. So let yourself feel like that. Give yourself the creative freedom of a Uruguayan captain. Diego Lugano sees reality very different, as we will discuss, to other normal human beings.
Oh, my word.
Let's just have collective magical realism. Amazing. I'll say also, when I see Chicago, a city that I love, city that I first moved
That image is amazing, Rog.
When I see DuPont Circle,
and
I see it packed, another city I've lived in, Washington, D.C., a gorgeous city. When I see Kansas City thronging, I mean, just...
A city you haven't lived in yet.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. I
Good
love
barbecue.
the barbecue. I'm going to wear my... I actually have a Kansas Bryant's barbecue, I think it is, a hat here that I will wear for the next game, the next America game. When I see it, Davo, I think of a quote of a man who, not really my cup of tea, he was an NFL quarterback, Jack Kemp. When...
Didn't much like football.
Didn't much care for
football.
He
didn't like soccer.
When the US were awarded the 1994 World Cup, I think it was 1989, FIFA in there. Excellent.
Great job, FIFA.
In their excellency said, we're going to give it to this American place. We're going to give it to and he said on the floor of Congress, Dave, do you want to read that?
Jack Kemp, I think it is important for all those young men out there who someday hope to play real football that a distinction should be made, he declared. Football is democratic capitalism, whereas soccer is a European socialist sport.
Yep.
You know what I feel about European socialism, Rog. You know, I do not have a socialist bone in my body. Soccer is not socialist today. It is not a Euro-socialist sport. It has become American, Rog, as Dana Plato and different strokes today. As American as that.
As Anthony Michael Hall, weird science era.
And how appropriate that it was John Boy, Rog. That's one of my favourite. Do you remember the Waltons? Do you remember watching the Waltons growing up? Good night, John Boy. That John Boy scored that own goal that started turning that Ghana-Portugal game into a complete game of tiny
Just
bananas.
got an email from my mum.
Oh,
just email me.
Mrs. B? The elder Mrs. B?
Valerie Bennett.
Yeah.
So sad for your team, ! We've been thinking about you all day. So sorry you lost and are now out, but just think how bad England are and how much your team have done their country proud.
Yeah, your mum hasn't really been following this World Cup as closely as you would have wanted.
Yeah, but thanks, Mum.
Yeah,
great day. It's a great day for America.
Thank you, Valerie.
I'd say, Dave, it's a great day for American sport.
Yeah.
In all sincerity, this achievement to get out of Group G, to get out of this group of death. I was in Frankfurt with Jürgen Klinsmann when I started making the Inside movie.
Yeah.
And the first day we were there, he met with the German press. And he spoke in German to the German media who wanted to talk only about the German game. While he was wearing the US blazer and talking about leading this American team onto the field against Germany. And he looked them in the eye and he said, kind of with a very thin smile, he said, we're going to create some noise. We're going to shock the footballing world. He said, a big power will go out of Group G. And it will not be Germany, was what he said. And it's come to pass. And he has taken, I think, an incredible amount of flack for his decision-making as he went from the 30 flack, 23 huge flack. I mean, today, mixing it up again, Dave.
Well, let's just say
Omar Gonzalez.
Omar Gonzalez, I thought, had a fantastic game. I mean, Germany were as good as we knew they were going to be. Created a lot of chances, but not so many great chances because there were so many great tackles. There was resolute defending at the back, and I thought Omar Gonzalez showed a lot today. We were a little shocked in the shuttle on the way over here to the ESPN compound today that Jeff Cameron was dropped. But as Super Julie Foudy said to us, Jürgen Klinsmann is not a man who's afraid to make the big decision. That was a big decision.
Like, he's been making. Right. I just want to finish my point, which is he's been making big decisions all the way through the past 4 months. Huge risk-taking decisions that, frankly, put his own neck on the block each time. Every time he's put his neck on the block, particularly the Landon Donovan decision. And to get this team out of Group G, those opponents, that travel schedule, that heat, that climate, I think is a truly remarkable American sporting feat. I'll leave it to you, the listener, who understands the pantheon of American sporting achievements, where this kind of cool runnings escapade fits into that. But I cannot exaggerate how remarkable it is that this US team, when nobody gave them that positive. Even Nate Silver, the great Nate Silver,
the
phrenologist, who now says, per our match predictor, the US have a 42% chance of winning its round of 16 match if it advances. 50 in second place. They're going to be playing Belgium. I just want to say, you keep changing your SPIs game to game. Davo said that's like, what did he compare?
Well, I mean, here's the thing about our cupcake.
39.9% you said
we don't take another bite of our cupcake when the US go 1-0 up. We don't take another bite of our cupcake when Ghana equalise. We don't take another bite of our cupcake when we're down 1-0 to Germany. Our cupcakes, they are like true science, Roger.
Yeah, they are science. They're not true science. They are. Let's just be, and we don't have to qualify it, David. They are
science.
What they are, and the cupcakes don't lie, is all I will tell you.
And they don't change their mind. They don't change their mind.
So, remarkable coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at your kind of Mount Rushmore, your Dean Smiths, your Red Auerbachs, your Pat Summits, all those amazing, Joe Torre, all those guys in there. To me, Herb Brooks, what Jurgen has done places him as a great American coach to take this team at this time in this World Cup through. I think straight up, seriously, it is a remarkable achievement that deserves unbelievable respect.
And Rog, what I would say, which is what I am most encouraged about and what I am most optimistic about, both in the short term, but even more so in the long term, of American soccer and this team, is that we've seen the emergence. Let's face it, Michael Bradley, who we said was the US getting out of this group was going to ride on Michael Bradley's shoulders. Michael Bradley has not really had a great game so far.
It's been a bit like watching Jamie Lannister when he lost his sword hand.
It wasn't Dempsey today who carried the team through this game. We have seen the emergence of new stars, Jermaine Jones, Carl Beckerman, and we'd say today, Omar Gonzalez, an absolutely fantastic performance from the young man. Tim Howard, reliable as ever. He probably is kicking himself a little bit on that German goal because he's a perfectionist. He's that kind of a man. But a phenomenal performance from him. Some great saves, great positioning. Always hard to score against. Just really, it's the emergence of new players. That's what I find most encouraging about this US team.
I mean, talking through the game, the conditions, Dave, in Recife, I mean, it was like the shots out this morning from every journalist who is there. It was like watching, like they were kind of flooding the soundstage for a remake of Das Boot 2. Noah, a great flood is coming. We build a vessel to survive the fall. We build an ark. Illa, this is the end of everything, Noah. Noah, it's the beginning of everything. And so it proved to be. They played the game. They took to it. The big question came in early from
the US fans got there, Rog, which was amazing. The US fans got to the game. They got through the rain. They abandoned vehicles. They got there. Amazing stuff.
At Von Herf, with the big question of the day, at Men in Blazers, question of the day, does Wet Klinsmann outperform Wet Herrera?
We will be discussing this later on World Cup Tonight.
Well, we're not sure if he does, but we can convincingly tell you, Wet Yogi Love.
Yeah.
My wife says he looked a little bit like Jennifer Beals in the dancing scene, all of his hair slicked back and all hot and sweaty.
Today, Yogi Love.
He was very angry,
wet and angry.
When he walked off at half-time, he looked like he'd just been auditioning for one of the backup dancer spots in It's Raining Men, the Pointer Sisters video. But we went into this game, I have to be honest, I have not slept in 3
He looks
days.
like German Don Draper to me.
Is that German being not quite so good-looking whatsoever, and the cigarettes have taken their toll, you think?
Yeah. Season 6, Don Draper.
So, going into this game, not slept in a while. Still need sleep.
Very anxious this morning, Rog.
My nipples are radioactive.
Very anxious this morning.
Yeah, I was very worried when I saw the lineup, having spent time with Omar. And Omar, really, I mean, you can see his story is that he was one of the stars of this team, a young star that came through early in qualifying. And Jurgen has been very overt. And Omar told me himself, he said, 6 months ago, Jurgen called him up and said, Omar, you used to be here. Now you are here.
Wow.
So Jurgen had turned in our nation's moment of need to a man who used to be here.
Yeah.
And now he's there. Very brave call.
Yeah.
Brad Davis.
Solid game.
You said he's part
He's part elf. He's got my
Dual
daughter's
national.
ears.
He's
got my daughter's ears. He's
Another
part
dual
elf.
national. One of the ones we don't talk out enough. And the beginning of the game, I've got to be honest, one of the questions we were wondering about was, would there be a gentleman's handshake?
Yeah.
A lederhosen handshake?
No, well, I mean, the second we saw the announcement of the German team, we knew it wasn't going to be any kind of handshake agreement. The second we saw Jogi Löw on the sideline with the amount of passion he had for this game, the Germans wanted to stick it to the US.
There's a great opening scene before the game kicked off where the cameras cut to Jogi Löw. He had his hood on and he knew the cameras on him and he wanted to pick his nose, but the cameras are on him.
And by the way, that was very true. By the way, at the end of the game, Rog, the US men's national team had a chance to put one in the back of the net. You know, they got Bedoya with that chance, Dempsey with a little bit of a chance. Yeah. They were, look, that would have been a very flattering draw. Well, but it was still. There is still, and we're not watching Alexei, but I'm sure what Alexei is saying is there is still some beauty in a defensive performance, and they ultimately didn't allow them to stick too many balls in the back of the net.
The Germans came on the field. We were wondering, would they take it easy? No, this was a team probably infused with Philipp Lahm's angst against Jurgen. Yeah. Philipp Lahm, the little defender come midfielder, wrote in his autobiography very damning, overt comments of Jurgen's tactical ineptness at Bayern Munich, which he accused him of. This was a team that, were they going to take it easy on the US? No. They wanted to give them a bare bottom spanking in public. They started off their attacking movement, the intelligence, the runs, the peeling off to the flanks. It seemed to have the US so confused. The US, the first 10 minutes, it was like watching one of those National Geographic shows where a baby foal is born and takes its tentative first steps in the idyllic field. We honestly, in the first 45, we watched it. It was as if the US 11 had never played football before and learnt on the job. Because that first 10 minutes, it was savage. It looked like they were going to be...
So much space on the left. On the German right flank, on the US's left. Rob.
Touches in the first 10 minutes. Germany, 147. The US, 31. Omar, the game of his life. Germany, all the ideas, all the invention, all the key football. At real fake Sam Dunn. Not so high on Beckerman early. Great tweet at Men in Blazers. Beckerman yourself before you recommend yourself. But then the nice news is Zusi went a little bit all cool runnings. He had his little moment. You want him to change his haircut in the
I think he's got to rock a side pony, Susie, before it's all done.
Yeah.
He's right now going for the sort of, he's going for the, is it a low pony? Is it a mid pony? Don't quite know what it is. I'd love to see him rock a side pony. That would be a confident move.
What do you think? I mean, we should probably ask a guest in a second this question about what has gone on with Michael Bradley. We will save that question.
Yeah.
But then Germany, half-time change was a real Wendepunkt, bringing on closer, gave their attack a focal point that it kind of lacked in the first half.
Yeah.
And you felt the goal coming. What a finish, by the way, by Muller.
Amazing. I don't like the low socks, Roger. I don't enjoy. I don't think it's in the spirit of the game, those low socks, but it's a great finish.
An instinctive finish, a muscle memory finish, the kind of finishing that we don't have very often in a US shirt. Possibly Aaron Johansson is the most instinctive finisher that we have.
Yeah, it is the World Cup of side netting, both inside the net and outside the net, Roger.
Oh! Super Julie Foudy. Here she is.
Julie Foudy, here we go.
I'm so glad you're here, Super Julie Foudy.
She is.
I don't like to be hyperbolic, and I don't like to exaggerate, but we have the privilege of having in this room the single person who is probably most responsible for the US's victory.
Because, what did you do today, Julie, that you didn't do in the last game? What did you do today?
I came to the couch. I went to the couch.
And you
sat in position.
The same position. You assumed the position. Sat in the same position.
We played a 2 formation on the couch, didn't we?
Yeah.
Played a 2.
David on the left wing.
I love the left wing.
I
love the left wing. I always cut inside.
You always cut inside.
Always cut inside. But my left foot's a little bit better than you would imagine.
We are honoured to have you.
I didn't make that mistake twice.
We are honoured to have you.
Yeah.
Because you are, I was going to say self-proclaimed, but I think it's Roger and Davo proclaimed, in your style.
The first woman to play in MLS.
You were the Michael Bradley to that great US team that we watched. So can you come in and explain watching him?
My mother been talking to you again?
What, as we always speak to her, she gives us all of our notes.
Roger's mother, by the way, has already sent him an email saying sorry that the US didn't make it through.
She mourns very...
She doesn't understand the group. She's already sent him an email.
Yeah. Can we
straighten her out.
Can we... Oh, such a great day to be American.
Yeah.
Can we ask you...
You're becoming an American citizen, Roger.
I am becoming an American
citizen. Wait, was that get through?
That gets through. Yeah.
Just get
you
through.
are becoming an American citizen, Roger.
I am now. Thank you, America.
You and
better
John
passport
Boyd.
Kid
line.
Rock, if you're listening, I want you to swear me in. I want this to be the most American swearing-in citizenship thing of all
Yeah,
time.
you and John Boy of Ghana. You're going to have it
Ronaldo,
fast-tracked, Rog.
Cristiano Ronaldo,
Maybe
the
my
three of
hubby.
us. And Julie Foudy's husband. Here's a question for you. What has happened to Mike? What do you see out there? He seems to be struggling. He seems to be overhitting his passes, forcing his passes. The tackling is not there. He's charging around and then jogging. I mean, it's a very odd series of decisions. It's almost like his decision-making has become... Dave said to me, maybe a wire's loose. What's going on? What's
He
your
hasn't
read?
had enough small bananas, clearly.
Yeah.
You know, I think sometimes when you get to an event like this
Yeah.
and you want it so bad
Yeah.
that you overthink it. And he's playing, to me, like a player that's overthinking it.
Can you think of somebody who's done that before? Did you experience that?
Yes, all the time. I mean, and that was always the challenge as a player when you get to these high-pressure events is don't overthink it. I mean, to the point of I would go into a game, and if I was too focused on tactics or, you know, analyzing my game, I would not play well. I was best if I was just free-spirited and going. And I just get the sense that he wants it so bad. He wants this country to move forward and progress that he's holding on a little too tight. And I think maybe them now getting through. And he looked a little fatigued today, which is understandable.
He did not move well. That's the other thing we were talking about. He did not move particularly well today. Obviously, Rogers, we've talked a lot about, you know, now the record for teams coming out of Manaus, it is 0-5. Right, we're now looking at teams coming out of Manaus.
Right. Manaus is the window maker.
Houston in August.
Very, very tough.
Fabulous.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
4 more games.
And a lot heavier than it
Four more
looks.
games, Julie. 4 more games.
Unbelievably, there's two
Can
of them.
you put a drink
They're
in
both
here?
real.
Yeah. Well, no,
What's your drink?
I think you could put a drink in it if you stop that up.
It's a shot glass
then
right
you could
there?
do it. Yeah. Yeah, these cost.
Very expensive.
You should have seen Rog haggling on Copacabana Beach for you yesterday. I was very proud of you,
What do
Rog.
you take? I know you're a big Michael Bradley fan. What do you take, Rog?
Michael Bradley. I mean, I think it's I pray it's not a David Duval on the football field kind of
You
incident.
mean like the yips?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he is, what you said, forcing too much, taking on almost too much responsibility. And the decision-making, which has normally been, when he pulls on a US shirt, so critical, has just been almost absent. But watching him play out balls that he normally spanks out beautifully to the flank, and they're either behind the player or they miss them completely. The tackling seems mistimed.
And the other thing is that this midfield diamond, Rog, is not quite working in the way that I think we thought it was going to work as they were going through qualifying, where Bradley was going to play at the forward tip. Today, Jermaine Jones
was the
one who was forward
The
there.
indestructible Jermaine. We got a great tweet from @Sasha who said Jermaine Jones has run into the referee. He ran into Bedoya. The ball is pretty well the only thing Jermaine Jones has not run into yet. Little bit harsh. He is our hero. You are now, in our mind, the female Jermaine Jones.
Yeah.
Till Michael Bradley starts stepping it up a little bit.
He was a stud today.
Yeah,
He's a beast.
We got another tweet from David Kupfer at Men in Blazers. Best loss since Bunker Hill. Rog, that's a fantastic one. At Men in Blazers, I can't ever imagine another moment when Ronaldo scores a goal and the whole bar starts a USA chant.
Ronaldo,
That's from Chas Rockwell.
let me count the ways in which we love you, Ronaldo. Of that, there is no doubt. I have to say, the longer the game went on, the more interesting the Portugal-Ghana game kind of came on.
Yeah.
And we had both screens up in big.
And the less I started criticizing Ronaldo's hair.
Yeah.
He looked subtle. Looked
I
better,
loved
better.
him today.
Yeah, we love him. You, me, and John Boy, we are going to all become US citizens together, David.
That's very, very good. Julie, any other players that really caught you? We talked about Omar Gonzalez earlier, coming in, debutant, and he had that early whiff, but then had a very good game.
I must admit, I was a little nervous about that. Not because I don't think he has the potential, but with his injury, his knee injury, he wasn't quite 100%, and then there was talk about Beasler not being 100% with his hamstring bothering him. So that pairing had Rog, would you be in on this with me? Rog and I a little concerned. We were talking before the game.
Roger's easily concerned.
Yeah.
And then
you got to keep him calm. Super Julie Foudy, you got to keep him. You can't encourage his anxiety.
Well, I was right next to him with that anxiety.
Yeah.
But then he just kept coming back and back and back. Some great tackles, some great clearances in the air.
There, we're just seeing one on the highlights right there.
Yeah, and so I believe I should have never doubted.
Yeah,
It'll be very interesting to see exactly what combination Jurgen serves up for the Belgian game in Cleveland last summer. Belgium came over, and I was there to watch Belgium shellac the US, a very different US team in terms of where they were mentally, in terms of where they were physically, in terms of personnel, but they tore this US team apart. Again, not unlike the Germans with their ideas, with their invention, with their movement. It was just playing a very different game of football than the US was able. They turned them inside out and then calmed down. They scored 3 or 4 goals within kind of 20, 30 minutes and then took their feet off. In those days, I loved Marouane Fellaini, so it was a loss that felt like a win.
Julie, any more fascinating Fabian Johnson stories that you want to tell us before you leave?
Give me 10 minutes and I'll get back to you.
Okay, very good. Super Julie Foudy.
He was another great one, though. I've been enjoying watching him play.
No, he's played very, very well. Super Julie
All right,
Foudy.
boys.
We cannot say enough wonderful things about the work that she does and how she carried this US team single-handedly out of Group G. Like David
the first woman to play in MLS. Amazing stuff.
When is Belgium, assuming we do get
Tuesday. That's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah. No sleep till Salvador.
Back on the couch.
No sleep till Salvador.
That's
what we're going for.
Bye, boys.
Thanks so much, Super Julie Foudy. Super Julie Foudy, a great American. San Clemente, California's Super Julie Foudy. Stanford's Super Julie Foudy. Roger. Talking about Belgium. Yes, they were very good last year.
Phenomenal.
Belgium were phenomenal last year.
Yep.
We went and saw Belgium play their group game, Rog,
against Russia.
And I think one would have to say that this World Cup has come a year too late for Belgium. Still a very good footballing team. You know, Fellaini, a very, very good footballer in that Belgium shirt. Eden Hazard, a very good footballer. When he wants to be. Going to make those efforts. I think it's going to be very interesting, the switching around Eden Hazard, like Beasley and Fabian Johnson are going to have to really be on their game. But I got to tell you, I don't think it's a horrible matchup for the United States men's national team.
Yeah, I mean, a year ago, this Belgian team, they had Benteke up front, they subbed him off, they put Lukaku on, who was also imperious as opposed to the heavy-legged gentleman who's kind of slugging it through this World Cup so far.
Yeah.
They had just combinations in midfield, they had incredible power up the middle, they had incredible flank play. A lot of these players have had long seasons, have tapered off. What Russia did in the game, the bit that I wasn't asleep for, to be candid. We actually went to another game last night.
And fell asleep again. Check our Instagram, Men in Blazers. Roger's fallen asleep at both World Cup games that we've attended so far.
Sometimes FIFA land just plain old tires me out. So
too much humanity.
This Belgian team against Russia decided just to sit back Capello style and let Belgium come onto them, and they lacked ideas, they lacked leadership, they lacked invention, and it wasn't until Morales came on towards the end. Morales, great friend of Hazard. Hazard almost stepped up his game when Morales came onto the field, and then it was like watching a remarkable point guard who's kind of erratic watching Hazard. He slept walked through the first kind of 65, 70 minutes, but once he decided to turn the game up and started to call for the ball, started to demand the ball, started to move around, started to drift inside, started to kind of take whatever position he wanted in the final third, and Belgium would feed the ball into him and he'd take on anybody, take them on relentlessly, going and going again.
From a standing start. He'll take it. He can play half-court basketball, Eden Hazard. Very few players in the world can play half-court. Well, here we go. Paul Carr blows your mind, said Paul Carr blows your mind. Said Paul Carr blows your mind, said Paul Carr blows your mind.
Great day, Paul. Make it a happy one.
Great day.
Make it a happy one.
I can't wait for this statistic. This is a statistic from Paul Carr from ESPN Stats and Research. He's going to have... I just know that this is going to be, of all the stats, of all the research you've ever given us, I know that this is going to be the one that is going to blow everyone's mind more than it is even possible to have a mind blown.
Aeolian Liar said, at Men in Blazers, I had a nightmare where at PCAR ESPN didn't blow my mind. Thank God I woke up for
that. That would be awful.
That is okay. We'll see. All right, so we're all very happy that the U.S. has gone through it.
We are. You're not going to give us a downer with that intro?
No, absolutely
okay,
not.
good. Okay,
you got to keep things happy.
Okay, good. Okay.
And something like this happened. Let's see. That's 3 CONCACAF teams in for the first time ever.
CONCACAF Thunder. Round. CONCACAF Thunder.
8 teams from the Americas are in the round of 16, which is the most that have ever advanced from the Americas.
So combining CONMEBOL and CONCACAF, the Americas. North, Central, South America. 8 out of 16 teams are from there.
That's the most that have ever been in the round of 16 from the Americas.
Not a single team from Asia?
Nobody from Asia. There could be. South Korea could get through, although it's very
We're going to see what happens.
Probably not.
Africa.
Just Nigeria.
Just Nigeria. Yep. And so we're now looking at maybe 6 teams from Europe, maybe 7.
6 to 7 from Europe.
6 to 7 from Europe.
Don't mean to put you on the spot,
Yeah.
How many of those speak English as a first language?
How many of the
teams
countries on the whole?
The teams that have gone through into the round of 16. How many speak our language?
Probably just the U.S.
Yeah. I must say the Dutch do speak very. The Dutch do speak very good English.
Remnant of the English-speaking union.
The English-speaking union.
Former empire colonies.
English-speaking union.
Get behind
I love the special relationship. I love the English-speaking union, Rog. It's excellent for the English-speaking people of the world. Winston Churchill.
You are fairly devoid of emotion.
Yeah.
Some of your best friend are numbers.
Correct.
Watching US thunder to that just tremendous 0-1 loss.
Yeah. How was that in binary code?
Yeah.
It was a little rough.
Yeah, lots of ones and zeros.
Lots of ones and zeros, very static.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
Did you feel anything today?
Sitting there.
Did you feel anything?
A little bit. A little heart twinge.
Whoa. It's excellent.
It
That's
big,
really
big
good to
moment.
know. That's really good to know.
First
That's
time
amazing.
since in about 4 years.
What
The
is
core
the
feelings, Paul
what is
Carr.
the SPI? What is how are those stats moving now? Where are we?
Well, the U.S. doesn't know who the opponent will be.
Yeah.
But averaging out all the possibilities, the U.S. has about a 42% chance of advancing to the quarterfinals.
Isn't that exactly the same percent that we had of getting out of the group?
Yeah, 39.9%.
It's a little bit higher.
39.9% said
Yeah.
SPI. Look, this is Alexi Lalas breakdancing. Yeah.
Alexi's very happy
I don't think
Alexi
you make
is.
it out of the group. I
Alexi.
hope you do. Prove me wrong, but I don't think you make it out of the group.
We showed him.
That's an action figure. Alexi Lalas action figure. You don't make it out of the group.
That win was American.
Yeah.
That draw was American.
That loss was
American. Everything's American,
That's
Rog.
right.
Everything is American. Do you know what?
Yep.
Everything is American. Hashtag everything is American. Everything.
This game is going to break down to transition and Americanness.
We've got the edge in Americanness.
Yeah, we were the most American team in the group. There's
Australia
no doubt
were
about
briefly
Why we
very
went through.
American.
No, in our group, Germany were quite American.
God, I love CONCACAF. I love it in the face.
We got a few more teams. Paul Carr, thanks very much for blowing our mind. Paul Carr blows your mind. I said, Paul Carr blows your mind. I said, Paul Carr blows your mind. Fantastic job, Paul. That's mind-blowing. 8 teams from the Americas, Rog.
Yeah.
8 teams from the Americas.
Should we wrap it up, David?
Well, we've got a few more tweets. Shall I go through a few more tweets?
Give us a couple.
From Brendan Carroll, CONCACAF Thunder, baby. Bring on fake Holland.
Yeah.
That's Belgium.
Yeah.
The Low Countries.
Yeah, they are.
Go to YouTube. You can watch our preview on the Low Countries, Belgium and Holland. We could be facing both of them. We are going through the Low Country route, I believe, towards the World Cup final, Rog.
Like Patton.
Yeah. Jaron Perisek, 19% of the last 16 is CONCACAF. Paul Carr would have liked that.
Yeah.
That's a percentage.
Yeah.
That's really the whole thing.
Well, let me read out one of the most beautiful ones that we have, I think, connected on all the way through this thing.
Oh, more.
There you go.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting. Not that interesting. There's only one God.
Yeah.
And his name is Group of Death.
Yeah.
And there's only one thing we say to death.
Yeah.
Not today.
Not
today, America.
Not in the face.
Amazing sporting achievement. Amazing accomplishment. Well done, our 23, David.
From Janae at Men in Blazers, watching the Group G matches was more nerve-wracking than childbirth, and now I can finally say we made it. That's from Janae. From Dave Anastasia at Men in Blazers. Whoa, you think Giuseppe Rossi has any regrets now? That's a little inside.
Yeah.
Men in Blazers, can we talk about Besler? Solid throughout the group stage. Unsung hero. Yeah, we was.
Okay.
He was solid. We're not going to talk about it
only
much,
one
but
God.
it was solid.
His name is Group of Death.
Yeah.
And there's only one thing we say to death. Not today.
Not in the Should we end with a little tune, Rog?
Yeah. I'd like to sing a Kenny G number that we worked on just for this.
It would be amazing if we could play these like Kenny G. Okay, we're getting 1, 2, 3.